This is a great first date movie. I say this is a great first...
I don't know, there's a lot of emotion for one date.
Really?
How's it going, kiddo? It's jam sesh time.
No.
Come on. When jam sesh time arrives, we have to put aside childish things like homework and med school.
Please don't touch my thing.
It's jam sesh time. I have to close the shop.
I'm sorry, Frank. I held off on raising the rent as long as I could.
I mean, it's time. My girl starts UCLA in the fall. You can't make your heart feel like what?
Just a bunch of words.
I want it that way. They want what? What way?
I'm sorry, are you bringing up the Backstreet Boys?
It's actually a pretty good song.
We don't always get to do what we love, so we need to love what we do.
I never realized that was your secret.
Yep.
The description for this film is a father and daughter forming an unlikely songwriting duo in the summer before she leaves for college. That is the description straight off of IMDb. I would say there's a lot more to this film than just that. That is probably the thinnest description I've ever read for a film.
I mean, it's kind of point on. It's very to the point. It's exactly what it is.
There's a lot more to this film than just what that little description says. But, I mean, I'll just go ahead and say it. I really, really liked this film. I actually I'd say I even loved this film. We saw a couple films this week. This is probably my favorite one.
Oh, this is definitely my favorite one.
This was a film that there was a certain point where I started counting the amount of times that I was actually swelling up. A lot of films, when you see a trailer, when you see the movie, you don't get what the movie promised. So playing up on expectations versus reality, you watch the trailer for this. We just showed a clip from it. What do you think this film delivered on the expectations of what you saw from the trailer?
I mean, it's exactly what the trailer said it was going to be. I knew I was going to go in. I knew I was going to cry, and that's exactly what happened.
How many times did you cry?
I cried, actually, tear fell once. But
and then
my
you looked over at me, and you're like, "Are you crying?
Yeah.
Are you crying too?"
But my eyes were glossy the entire movie. I think from the beginning to the end,
My eyes weren't glossy the entire time. There are a few scenes that thing started to hit. There was no hoodwinking here. I mean, you get what the trailer promises. There's only one trailer. No one knows this film exists. I didn't know this film existed until I was looking at the recent releases. I was on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, what's coming out this weekend? It's like, oh, well, Ocean's 8, Hereditary. What's this other movie? It's got like a 97% critical approval rating. Hearts Beat Loud. And I watched the trailer for it, and that's when I sent you the trailer. It was Thursday.
I was like, yes!
Like, do you want to see this movie? Like, I immediately wanted to see it as soon as I saw it. And because it reminded me of some other films that we've seen in the past that were also little films that no one has heard about, which brings us to the next point. Similar movies. Maybe there are movies that the people watching have seen that go, oh, if that's like that, I think I might like this one.
Yeah.
And for me, this specifically, there was one film. It was, I guess it's a British film, but it was Sing Street. This reminded me of Sing Street.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't bring it up after the movie because I don't know if you were going to get it or not. But this was very much like Sing Street to me.
It was.
But like where Sing Street was about kids growing up in, I think it's the UK, Europe, maybe Ireland.
I mean, I think in this movie...
It's a father and daughter instead of a group of kids.
But it's also the father and daughter. The dad had to grow up a little bit.
He did need to grow up a little bit. That one scene, one of the better scenes was when, very early on, it's very much the daughter is the parent in the relationship, where she's like, Dad, why are you buying all this stuff? Because he buys all this musical equipment. And they clearly...
I mean, it's in the video.
Doesn't have the money to do it. I mean, his business is going under. Toni Collette, who's also in this, who was in Hereditary also this weekend.
Totally
she plays a little different. She plays the person that owns the building that he's leasing his business from, and he has to sell the shop, and then she tries to help him out a little bit, but he's pretty unreasonable with his money. But then he realizes when him and his daughter have this jam session, it's like, I don't want to sell music, I want to make music.
Yeah. I think overall you feel at the end, I felt at the end of the movie that no matter how old you are, how young you are, you can still have a dream that you want to chase. And I think that's what I took away the very last shot of the movie. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give it away, but when the movie went into credits, I was like, that's it?
I did like it. Was a very artsy way of going into the credits. I did like
Yeah.
that. I thought the acting was really good in this film.
I thought it was great.
It stars Nick Offerman and
Nick Offerman is the dad's dad in this movie.
yeah, he's very much. He's the dad that
is
every kid
fully-
wishes that they have. He's like the dad that everyone's like, I want to have, like every 10-year-old wants to have a jam session to play music with their dad. He is that guy. But it's Nick Offerman. Who was the girl? Kiersey Clemens.
Kiersey Clemens.
They played the father-daughter. Kiersey Clemens was in Dope. She played the young friend of the main character in Dope. She was one of the ones that always rode around the bikes with him.
She's an up-and-coming actress, I think. I haven't seen her in much, but I think she's going to...
No, she's good. And she sings the
I think
songs
she's going
in
to
this.
get big.
If you have a chance and you can listen to the music from this, I don't know if the music, what apps it's on, but we listen to it on Amazon Prime. We use Amazon Prime Music, and the album's on there. I think there's 6 songs. Is there 6 songs?
No, it's all the songs. There's like 15.
Oh, really?
There's like the little...
15. I stand corrected. All right.
There's like all the little moments with the, what do you call music that's just on a
We'll get
soundtrack.
into we'll get into that in a second, because that is one of the things I want to talk about, was like how the music plays a part in the film. But one of the other things is that, speaking of the cast, Ted Danson's also in it, who I guess he just picked up Cheers and just moved it down the street and opened up a little shop, a little bar. He's the same person he was in Cheers. He literally just like closed Cheers and then moved down the street and ran Cheers out of a little dingy bar for the next
Called
30
Sunny
years.
Bar.
So Ted Danson was good in it.
Except he's just
He didn't
high
have
all the
much. He's
time.
just a pot smoking old man, and he's a very good pot smoking old man.
He was good. Oh, that's funny that you said that.
He just literally just moved Cheers down the street, New York and everything. Same thing. All right. So now cast, everything I thought rocked. Now coming out of the film, did you have a favorite scene? I have a favorite scene.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene?
When they played all the music together. That's when I started crying. When at the end and they close up the shop and they have that little duo moment. So sad.
That was a good moment. My favorite moment is unorthodox. It's not a happy moment, but I like this moment because it's quiet. There's no music and there's no dialogue, but it's the moment when you realize why the girl's mom's not around.
Oh, yeah. That one's sad.
That's the first time that I started to swell up, and the film went from a sort of like goofy coming of age comedy between a dad and a daughter, and we started to get into the more dramatic side, and it slowly eased us into the drama aspect of the film without hitting you over the head with it. Now, did you have any surprises? Was there anything in this film that kind of surprised you, shocked you?
No, not really. I think everything in the trailers in the movie, as far as nothing was a shock. Nothing was.
I will say, not that I was shocked, but I was pleasantly surprised at how close to a musical this movie was. This was a borderline musical.
Borderline.
It's a borderline musical.
Borderline.
And that's one of the things that I liken it to Sing Street, where Sing Street was also considered a musical. But Sing Street's musical acts actually they sort of like expand into bigger numbers in Sing Street, where that never happens in here, but there are long stretches of
just
time
music.
where it's just music. Their first jam session feels like it's 5 minutes long, but it doesn't feel like it's 5 minutes long, but it's a lengthy scene. And they just let the scene evolve from them creating the music. And that was a great moment, the scene when he's just strumming on the guitar. Mm-hmm. And then she's on the bicycle. No dialogue, it's just him strumming on the guitar. He's hitting the loop. You see the girl riding the bike, and it's probably a good 2 minutes of him just playing the guitar and his daughter's riding the bike. I'm just going back thinking to like the audience that we saw this with. It was an older crowd.
It was an older crowd. I was actually surprised.
And there's only one theater. We're in LA, and there's only one theater in LA that's playing this right now. I mean, that's the only thing. We also use MoviePass, but there's only one theater, and it's incredibly disappointing that it's not being advertised more, because this is a great film. I'd like to see this actually go out there. I highly recommend this film. I can't recommend this film enough.
I'm surprised that I was completely shocked that there's only one theater. When I was looking up on MoviePass trying to figure out where to go, I was like, really? There's one?
As far as like heart and emotionality goes, this also reminded me of The Big Sick a little bit too.
The
as
big
far
six.
as far
Like,
as
there's a goofiness and-
the drama is different, but the heart is very similar.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts on this film?
I mean, the first thing I thought of was all these emotions, and it was the same feeling that I got after The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and I just wanted to go out and do something great.
Yeah, and that's after we watched Walter Mitty. That's when we moved to California.
We literally moved after a month of seeing that movie, and well, we can't go anywhere, but that's the kind of movie it is. It makes you want to do something great.
But I know a lot of people don't like Walter Mitty, but I know we love it. I think that's a great film. Maybe we like it because it hit us in a certain point in our lives. But my final thoughts on the film is that if you like films like Sing Street, The Big Sick, if you
is
like
also on
emotion, a softer emotional film, this isn't like a beat you over the head, like we're gonna make you cry kind of emotional film. It's an understated emotional film. And I was actually pleasantly surprised at how many times I welled up in the film. I borderline cried. I was counting at one point. It got me 4 times.
4 times.
4 times.
4 times.
4 times. This is a good 4 cry movie. 4 cries.
I'm like tearing up just thinking about it. It was that kind of movie for me.
So for me, this is highly recommended. I can't recommend it enough. Go out to a theater and see this. Especially, this is a great first date movie. I'd say this is a great first.
I don't know. There's a lot of emotion for one date.
Really? I think this is a good date movie.
I think it is too, but it's a lot of emotion. If you don't mind crying in front of your new
And then you
friend
could go on the date, and then afterwards you could go,
and talk about it.
and then your date can start
I
crying
guess
again.
we
and you
did
can put
see on our first date. We did see a Nicholas Sparks film. So yeah, I guess it would be a good
Miley
movie.
Cyrus and Liam Hemsworth.
Don't tell people that.
I can't remember what the name of the movie was. I just know
That's
she wanted.
okay. That's
She
okay.
just wanted to save the turtles. She just wanted to save the turtles. That's it. They were in the sand.
I totally made you see that movie. I'm so embarrassed now.
No,
I
it's
just like
okay.
his
We've
books.
seen many Nicholas Sparks movies.
But it's just because of his books. His movies since, The Notebook,
So every Nicholas Sparks movie, except for one.
Different conversation for a different day.
Okay. Well, we ran a little long. We're going to try and tighten these up.
I'm sure we will.
We're going to try and get these to 10 minutes or 10-minute takes. Maybe we'll extend it to 20-minute takes. But anyways, this was our first show. Thank you for tuning in. Our next show, thinking about doing Ocean's 8. That came out this weekend. We might see that during the week. I don't know if anything big comes out next weekend, but we see a lot of movies. Like I said, we see
Jurassic
anywhere.
World, I think, is coming out next weekend.
Is it next weekend? It might be the weekend after.
Just kidding. No, it's the weekend after.
But anyways, we see anywhere from 2 to 5 movies in the theater a week. So expect to see more from us. Thank you for tuning in. This is 10-Minute Takes. See you next time.
Let's just do our thing.
What thing? We've never done this before.
Just do what we always do. Just in front of some people. And that's what bands do, right?
Let it go.